that the Constitution is not being upheld, because there are certain articles in the Constitution that specifically delineate that premise. And that premise is something that results in second, third order effects, human trafficking, fentanyl, I call it a chemical warfare coming across the border, children being used and abused and sometimes killed in that process.
What we're seeing right now is the people rising up because the government is not protecting Texas and they're not protecting we the people. The open border has caused and created so much infiltration of nonsense between the fentanyl, the TB. As a physician, I understand that and see that. Between the sex trafficking that's going on, and actually I was told today they're not even calling it sex trafficking anymore because they're not being trafficked, they're being raped, brutally raped. But I understand some of that. I've been in 35 different countries, mostly on disaster relief. And right now we're in disaster. And I wanted to see it firsthand, that when I go back and talk to my constituents, I could tell them, guys, this is what's happening. Stop minimizing it. This needs to be clarion alarm to every citizen across the United States that we need to demand our border be closed. We also are an open state. We have borders to Canada, three places, and also people are being shipped into Michigan. So it is impacting us. It's not just a Texas issue. It is an issue of the United States of America. We're not America, we're the United States of America. And what is impacting one is absolutely impacting all.
What would you do if you were in the Senate to put a stop to this?
Demand the border be closed. So we can close the border. I have on my website a 21-point plan. I was endorsed by Thomas Homan, and when I met Tom, I said, Tom, I've got a plan. He said, show me the plan, and either I'll endorse you or I'll educate you. Tom's done both. But we need to reenact the Remain in Mexico, and that needs to apply to every country. We need to stop giving the handouts at the border. We need to stop the asylum seeking the way it is now, because people are not all asylum seekers. They're coming across the border illegally. What they can do in this country, to this country, it's not a thing of what we can do for them.
So this whole thing started off as a pastor from North Texas wanting to set up a tent revival on the border. He got a word that he needed to do that. I said, I'll help you out. I'm on the border all the time. We help out citizens down there to shore up their ranches to make sure they're safe. We do humanitarian work down there. I'm a physician, that's what I do. I served for 39 years, active Guard and Reserves, and that's all I know is service. From that, the Convoy contacted me separately and said, do you have a place for us to anchor our trip from Virginia Beach to Eagle Pass? And I said, well, don't go into Eagle Pass because there are National Guard operations down there. If you bring in some trucks down there, you're going to shut down their ability to operate. And I'm sure you're going to make the sheriff angry because he doesn't want all those trucks. So come up here to Quemato, 20 miles north, and come and see this thing, and you'll understand. Because the lady that runs this battered women's shelter, that runs this, she brings food to orphanages in Mexico, just about 400 meters across the other side of the river. That's what she's been doing for 25 years. A wonderful lady. So from that, what we're doing is, I'm listening to the convoy, and I'm saying, can I help you in any way? So now I'm a liaison. That's what I do. And so I'm talking to law enforcement in Texas, making sure that they're safe. I don't want them to have some kind of an attack on them, or an insider attack, really, is what I was concerned about in the beginning. But this thing is blown out of proportion. There's lots of media that just not necessarily not on our side, but painting a different picture of this Christian group that really just want to do the right thing. I don't know how many trucks are going to show up, but when they put out what I call a false flag of 700,000 trucks are on their way, that's a fear tactic. So we know what that looks like. I've done this before downrange in my capacity as a Green Beret. What you do there is you use things to get in people's heads to cause fear. And we just don't live in the spirit of fear in Texas, number one. And there is an American character that exists in this country that we fought for to continue to uphold the U.S. Constitution. So do you know why the people in D.C., all the way down to the sheriffs, agree with me? Because they took the same oath.
What is your understanding of this convoy?
My understanding and why I've been invited is because it is a peaceful assembly of people that are saying, no, we're going to reinforce our constitutional rights that the government right now, Biden administration, is running over with his tyranny. And we are a peaceful assembly saying, no, We're going to protect our borders. Texas has a right to protect their borders, our borders. Citizens have a right. And that's where we need to stand up and take our constitutional rights back and fight for our nation that we're losing.
So their intent is to shed light upon the open policies, open door policies on the border. The invasion, I call it the invasion on the border. This is not their words, these are my words. The invasion on the border, they want to shed light upon that to show that the Constitution is not being upheld, because there are certain articles in the Constitution that specifically delineate that premise. And that premise is something that results in second, third order effects, human trafficking, fentanyl, I call it a chemical warfare coming across the border, children being used and abused and sometimes killed in that process. I care about kids. I've taken care of a lot of them. So that's what that does. Those are second and third order effects. We can talk about what it does to the economics. We can talk about that stuff, but I don't worry about that. What I worry about is the alligator closest to my canoe, which is this border, the people of this state, the people of this country, and those children that I have to look in their eyes when they're coming across that border and say, I pray that wherever you go right now, you're safe.
The absolute civil duty of the government is to protect we the people, to make certain that our borders are closed. The fact that Reagan said many years ago, a country without a border is no country at all. We are there, and it is the responsibility and duty of every elected official to make certain that they are protecting our inherent rights and protect our security. And that is no security whatsoever. It is such a breach in national security. And the fact that they're spending that much money, you said 400-something billion. We've done some research, and it looks like it's more to $568 billion per year that the taxpayers are paying between the rights that they're giving, the privileges, the money that they're giving, the hospitalizations, the schooling, everything. I've been in 35 different countries. Every country I've been to, I've had to show my passport. Many countries show a visa, but they've never met me at my border. Instead, we're bringing in medical supplies, we're bringing in humanitarian aid, and instead we're inviting them in and paying them to come in. The government's responsibility is to protect we the people and secure our nation, and it has failed miserably.